Okay, the story, chapter 8. Illy, he, deters it, wiped the sudorum, the sweat, with his hands, and he inquired. He said, "If only you would know the things which happened to me." I said, "What of news? What is the news?" But he, being deficient and weak, he inquired. He said, "When I was wandering around through the whole town, and I was not able to find the place in which I had left where I was staying, the stabulum, there came up to me a pater familiar, a head of a household, and he promised himself he could be the leader of my journey most humanely. He offered per anfractus through winding roads, then most obscure. He egressed, he walked, went off, and he led me into this place, in hoc locum. And pro lato pecunus, I'll make that agree, and having offered money, he began to ask for stuprum, some sort of degenerate sex. Yam. Already a meretrix, a whore, had eked out of me, exaggerated, ex meaning coming out of, an ass, which is the lowest type of coin, for the room, for the cellar. And now, Illy, he had injected his hand to me, he'd grabbed me, and unless this is a one of those cases where woulda, coulda, shoulda, except that I'd been Valentia, I'd been more stronger than him, I would have paid the penalty. He would have been stuprummed. Adio without an ut just means absolutely something, so ubique everywhere, everyone seemed to me to have drunk. I'll have to change this. It's Satyricon or something. But we managed to spurn off all this trouble with our joint strength. So there's a lacuna here, there's a missing bit. So he's met up with his friend. Everyone seemed drunk on this drug, and using their joint strength, they got out. 9. As if through a fog, I saw Gitona standing on the raised bit of the path, standing, and I connected myself, I threw myself, I ran maybe a bit of speed, into the same place. Okay, so I'll read from the lobe about this Satyrian. If you cross a lobe with your ear, you get an earlobe. A Satyrian, or Satyrios, of which Pliny in his natural history gives 4 kinds, alleged to excite sexual desire, including the man Orcus, another orchid, and the Greek Fritillarii, whatever they are. The Greeks use the name Satyrian for any alleged aphrodisiac plant. Pliny, book 26, page 99. Okay, so cum querum. So when I was asking whether, so it's a question, it's now going to take another nominative, whether his brother had prepared for them some sort of lunch. A boy was sitting on the bed, so maybe he asked this boy, and he was, the dripping tears, he was extersing with his pollock. He was wiping off his dripping tears with his thumb. Perturbatus, ego. I was perturbed by this bearing of the brother, and I quasivated. I asked, indirect question, what subjunctive, what had happened. And he, slowly indeed, and unwillingly, but after I'd mixed with prayers I'd mixed some wrath, basically, or some anger with my prayers. He inquired, he said, "You, your brother, or your companion, shortly before, he corroted into this place I'd hired, and he began to want to extort my modesty from me." So some things going on. And when I proclaimed about it, he strengthened his sword, put out his sword, and he inquired, "If you're Lucretia, you have found Tarquinium," which is that rape of the last king of Rome, I believe. Ego quibus auditus. With these things heard, I intented my manus, I aimed my fist into the eyes of Ascultius, and I was saying, "What are you saying?" "What did you say?" I said. "You whore of a suffering woman or a beaten woman, maybe of a raped woman, of who, since they were injecting things, where do I do this? Quidam. Who who not even your spirit is pure. I think that's in one translation. He pretended, Asclepius, to be shocked, that he pretended himself was shocked. Soon, having sublatus his manibus, after having lifted up his hands more bravely, he clamoveted with some great strength or something, by much more stronger. He inquired, non taces, which means, will you be quiet? I think Plautus uses this. It's can be a bit confusing because it looks like you're not being quiet, but it means it's more of an imperative. Shut up, you obscene gladiator, which is an imperative of US in the second declension, whom de ruina arena dimisit. You've left the arena. And some translations, this is derisis, which means you've been mocked or laughed out of the arena, or I think another translation is meridias, which means in the middle of the day you've been kicked out of the arena. Non taces, will you not be quiet, you nocturnal assassin, who not even then, when you were making yourself 40 or braver, could you fight with a pure woman, of which by the same reason, in the Viridia, this is in a green place, so in a garden, I'm guessing. I was the brother. I was a brother to you, who now is this boy in the Diversium where they're staying. When I said, you've subducted yourself, you took yourself away from this colloquy of the instructor. This probably looks like he was giving a speech or something of the teacher was giving an instruction. 10. What was I, you stupid man? What ought I have done when I was dying from famine, from hunger? Or should I have, that's just a filler word, should I have listened to these opinions? This is broken glass and the interpretation of dreams. So that must have been what this colloquium was about. You are turpier than me. You're more fouler or something than me by much. By Hercules, you go out to dine, you praise the poet to get the invitation to dine, I'm guessing. Now, Daily Dictionary, patientia, which we saw, with the scortum, patientia mulia or something. The submission by prostitution is one of the definitions of it, intolerance and forbearance. So it was, where was it, up here somewhere? Patientia. The scortum with the patentium mulibris. So there's a prostitute who suffers intercourse like a woman or something. So back to where we end up. And so from this disgraceful litigation, or which being a law court, this is just two people fighting, we diffused into laughter. We melted into laughter, and we went off into retreat to do the rest of the things more pacified. Again, there came into my memory, recalled into my memory of the insult. And I said, Asclepius, I understand that we're not able to come together in agreement, and so our communal sacks we should divide up, partition them, and we will try to expel our poverty, each with our own separate income, or questibus is money that you have. Et tu literis scis and ego. Both you and I are lettered men, we're educated. I will not stand in the way of your income. I will promise this thing that I will not. Otherwise, 1,000 causes daily, and we will collide over. We'll headbutt. And through the whole city, these problems will be deferred or carried. Pharaoh means to carry. They'll be carried by rumours. Asclepius didn't refuse, and he said, today, just as schoolmates or something, we'll mix together, go to dinner. So we won't waste the night. because we're eating together, we won't waste the night. Tomorrow, however, because this is what ought to happen, I will look for myself for a new habitation and another brother. And I said, it's tardum, I guess it's tiresome, for what is pleasing to defer it, to wait for it, or something. Libido, lust has made such a headfirst or rash, the division or something, and now for some time I was desiring, or for yam dudum, you can put them together if you want. For some time I was desiring to be rid of this molestum custodum, for this tiresome guard, with a purpose ut, so that with my giton, that's the other guy I was mentioned, I could return to the same old accounts, veterum rationem, that he had with this other guy.